Hello, I'm Dave Feinlieb, and this is Beyond the Shelf. This show is an open exploration of the people and process behind e-commerce. Through conversations with innovators in the space, we learn the stories of these leaders and their strategies for e-commerce success. You can find out more about how we're helping leading brands and retailers build retail media and product detail page content faster than ever before at itsrapid.ai. My guest on today's show is McKenzie Bauer, co-founder of Thread Wallets, an e-commerce company redefining everyday carry items. Thread Wallets was born from a desire to bring style and functionality to a category dominated by bulky and bland designs. McKenzie and her team are on a mission to create products that not only look great, but also support their customers' active lifestyles. Join us as we dive into her journey in building a brand from scratch. I hope you enjoy my conversation with McKenzie Bauer. McKenzie, welcome to the show.
Hi, it's so nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
So you built the company from scratch. Tell us how you got your start and interest in the space.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great question. I kind of got my interest because I had interest in a boy. My husband, we were dating at the time, early on in our courtship, like in 2014. He had been out at a small university on the North Shore of Hawaii. It's called BYU Hawaii. And he is known for being pretty forgetful. And so he jumped into the ocean with his wallet in his pocket. And when he went to replace his wallet online, he typed in, obviously on Google, like men's wallets. And all he saw was just these boring, chunky, big bifold wallets. And he was like, I don't need that. All I carry around with me is my driver's license, my student ID, and my credit card. And so he started using a rubber band around his cards just because it was super functional and allowed him to just carry exactly what he needed. And he fell in love with that. And shortly after, we started dating. And I feel like I'm a fairly creative person. I love brainstorming ideas. And so, of course, like one of our first conversations was about this idea that he had. And he was taking a class for college where they were talking a lot about Kickstarter. And he was spending a lot of time on Kickstarter, looking at what projects were doing well, being funded at high amounts. And there were quite a few projects back in 2014 for these slim minimalist wallets that were making tons of money, $300,000, $400,000, all these different numbers that were like very impressive. So he was like, okay, obviously like I need a minimalist wallet and the demand is there. Like these other companies had proven the demand. The only thing that theirs lacked was similar to what he'd seen when he was searching before on Google, was just like black elastic, brown leather, super minimal. And he really admired brands like Stance socks, Skull Candy headphones, Neff headwear, brands that had brought life into a otherwise kind of dull category. And he was like, this is really cool. Like, there's obviously a need for this. And I'm entrepreneurial. And so we were brainstorming this together. And he went up to the store, the local craft store, grabbed some white elastic, and I had a sewing machine. That was one of the first questions he asked me, was if I had a sewing machine. I was like, yeah, I think you're cute and I want to hang out with you. So sure, I have a sewing machine. And I did have a sewing machine. So we came back to my house and we started sewing these early prototypes in 2014 and gave them to some friends. And I started using it and I loved the simplicity. I'm not a huge purse person and fell in love with it. And then we had a friend who is who was at the time the local buyer, a buyer at a local boutique here in Utah. And she was like, if you get me some, like, I'd love to carry your wallets. So we made 30 or so and took them down to her and they sold. So we're like, oh my gosh, this is kind of working. So we continued to kind of just like push them through farmers markets and local pop-ups, nothing too official. And then at the end of 2014, we had been married for a few months, and we were having the discussion that many newlyweds have about what to do with your life. Like, where are we going to go with this? Like, are we going to move somewhere new and start fresh and pursue this career or that career? We had some good options on the table. My husband was pursuing professional soccer, and there were some offers coming in there. And his dad was a financial planner. So his dad was like, you can come work with me. But none of them felt right for what we wanted to build for our life. And we had this little wallet idea, and we were like, you know what? If we just give this thing 6 months, let's see what happens. Like, let's just push as hard as we can for 6 months. And if it works, then we'll keep pushing with it. But if not, then we'll pivot. And that's okay.
There's lots of options.
Yeah, there's lots of other options. And we're at a great point to be able to pivot because we're young. We don't have a car payment. We didn't have a mortgage yet. Like, we didn't have kids. We didn't have mouths to feed. It was, if we needed to eat ramen and cereal for every meal, we could have.
You could do it.
Yeah.
So the timing was good.
Yeah, the timing was good. I think a lot of people think that they need to have a corporate job for 2 to 3 years to get experience and then start something. You hear that. Like, I hear a lot of people like, I have this idea, but
I didn't have the background.
I have this idea, but I'm just going to go to work at a company and get some experience. And then they get sucked into the benefits and they've got a good salary and then they have a kid and it's too hard to step away from that. So I really think like the younger you can start something, the better. But we were really lucky. So those 6 months, this was January 1 of 2015. We incorporated as an LLC. So like officially started our business and we just hit it hard. We were so young with influencer marketing. Like, people didn't know what an influencer was yet, really. Instagram was only had just turned 5. I mean, they were born in 2010. So it was beginning of 2015.
And how did you know that as a marketing channel, or was it just part of your day-to-day?
It was kind of just part of the day-to-day. Like, that's where I was spending a lot of time and seeing that that's when brands were really starting to like build out their profiles on social media and engage with their consumers there. And I think one of the biggest business philosophies that we still try to follow this day is to be where your customer is. And it was like, this is the easiest way to reach a lot of people very quickly. And so, yeah, we started posting on social media and we did a Kickstarter campaign. The Kickstarter campaign didn't hit it out of the park by any means. We did like 35,000, but it was enough to continue to validate the idea. We had some more pop-ups and did like a big launch event with our website with friends and family. And that first year, we ended up doing about $130,000 in sales, which was way past our projections. Like, we almost double. We had sat down and we were like, if we can sell like 5 to 10 wallets a day,
you'd be happy.
5 to 10, we'd be happy, and we could make 50 to 60,000, and that's enough for us to live off of right now if it's just us, making the wallets.
Definitely.
So when we did that at the end of 2015, we were like, maybe we kind of have something here. So we just kept pushing and kept pushing. We started introducing different products at the end of 2016. So almost 2 years, we introduced like a complimentary lanyard to our wallets because people like to hook them on their keychains. We introduced other types of wallets in the coming months, like the bifold wallet. And we started to grow our team more, like put more focus on our team in 2017, building the team out. But yeah, it's crazy. That's kind of how we got started. And now we're here. We actually just had our grand opening for our new building that we have been renovating for 2 years. It's this old building on Center Street in our hometown that was built in the 1920s, and we renovated it. And we just had this big grand opening yesterday. And it was kind of one of those like, oh my gosh, like hundreds of people, just and lining up around the block. And it was like, this is really crazy.
First of all, congratulations. And second, you must be so proud of what you've built.
Oh, I am. It's really, really fun. We did the ribbon cutting ceremony and the mayor was there. And I had my daughters on my side as we cut the ribbon with the big pair of scissors. And I was rewatching the video this morning and just like kind of pinched me. Wow. Like, how did I get here? And being able to do this with my husband and our daughters are along for the ride. It's just the best. We're so proud and so happy to be where we're at.
It's incredible. Now, I have a lot of questions off of what you just said. The first one is the product expansion. So you had the wallets, where did the ideas come from for the lanyards? And was that from talking to customers? Did you think of it, or a mix of both?
Yeah, so that's a great question. The funny thing with the lanyards is I thought it was the dumbest idea. I was like, lanyards?
Yeah, right.
I thought lanyards were dumb. I was like, who's going to buy a lanyard? And it's funny to say that because my husband thought the elastic wallets were dumb. You were like, this is so, like, he'd had friends. One of his good friends from his soccer playing days was Garrett G, who sold his company to Snapchat for 54 million.
Wow.
So he was like, a wallet, like an elastic wallet. This is like so silly compared to what other people are doing. But we noticed our customers, whenever we'd see our customers wearing our wallet, using our wallet, they had it connected to some sort of lanyard, like from a conference or their high school or shoelace. And my husband had the wherewithal to be like, if they're using somebody else's lanyard, like that's like, we should be the one providing the lanyard. So we started making lanyards that match the designs of our wallets. And to this day, they're one of our best selling products. Like they just a money making machine. And it's silly because it's just a lanyard, but people love the fun, expressive designs and the functionality. Our mantra is kind of just like super expressive, super functional, complementary to your personality. And the lanyards are just very functional. So it made sense. And that's kind of how we've launched other products as well, is just looking at what our consumer is using and wearing and what they would like. Like we had so many customers with our elastic wallet. They would stick their lip balm holder in the top against the cards and in the elastic. And we were like, if they're just sticking their elastic or their lip balm in there, then we need to create a lip balm holder. So in 2020, I believe it was, we made this simple little lip balm holder that's a very similar silhouette to our elastic wallets, but just very, a lot smaller. And I mean, we sold out of that thing so many times when we first launched. It was unreal. And still, yeah, again, continues to be a great selling product for us. And it's just those simple things that I think a lot of people have overlooked in the past to focus on. And so that's kind of what we do at Thread, is we try to find the things that nobody else is focusing on. Nobody was focusing on wallets. No brand was focusing on lanyards or lip balm holders, these small accessories that make your life more convenient. And that's where you'll find us living.
And it sounds like you've got kind of an inherent ability to notice the space around your core product and see what else the customers might need.
Yeah, exactly. The CEO of Stance Socks is on our board. And I can't remember if he told this to my husband or if it was someone else from Stance, but just that their goal is to own the drawer, like socks, underwear, sweats, like that's like their thing. And so our thing is kind of like owning the keychain. So we have your lanyards, your wallet, your AirPod cases, your lip balm holder, everything that you would need. And then we've also now started launching like bags and backpacks, which are just like so complementary to that as well when you're traveling, when you're on the go. So yeah, I think being in tune with your customer and what they're doing and needing is key.
I love it. What a great story. Now tell us about the building a business as a couple. I'm sure you must get asked this all the time.
Yes.
How do you make decisions? You know, you make the lanyard or don't make the lanyard, make the elastic wallet or don't make it. And this is kind of a classic challenge for entrepreneurs in general. We never have enough resources to build all the things we want, but curious how you go about making those decisions.
Well, there are a lot of arguments, if I'm being honest. But we're so grateful we're working together. I knew that I wanted, like, from a very young age, I saw my parents they had like very traditional gender roles and very traditional like jobs. Like my dad was a financial planner, was at work at 8, came home at 4, like just had dinner. He has horses, feed the horses, go to bed, do the whole thing over again. And I was like, from a young age, I was like, I just don't want that. Like, I want to like be very like connected with my husband and what we're doing and see him more than just like 1 hour a day at dinner before we're, on to putting the kids to bed and then wake up and do it all again. And so my husband, when we were starting out dating and putting this idea together, it was so fun. And then that just continued into our marriage, like continually ideating and having conversations about goals and being aligned and communicating about our schedules. We have to be so communicative. And it's really helped, I think, even before we had kids, we had to have a lot of hard conversations that prepped us for having children and other things that other decisions that we've had to face as we've grown as a couple. We've been married 10 years and our business is turning 10 years old. So kind of crazy. They've been kind of neck and neck. I wouldn't change it. It's been so fun and so fulfilling to have common interest. And for a while we'd be like, we can't talk about business at home or we can't bring it home, but we love it. It was like, it didn't work.
Yeah. You love the business and
we love the
right.
business. Yeah, we have the same common interests. We love the people that we work with. So there's like inside jokes and it just feels like it's a part of our family. Like it's another kid that we have to have tough decisions over. Like, how do we raise this kid? Like, how do we parent this child that we have together?
Yeah.
And we've had to have those conversations since day one. So I think it's helped us grow a lot and learn a lot about each other. I know it's not for everyone. I have friends that are like, I could never work with my husband. And I think the reality is that you could. You just need to like make sure that your priorities are aligned and that early on, we had to have conversations about what lane was ours and what lane was mine and what lane was my husband's. I started falling more into like marketing and influencers and collaborations, customer service. And then he was more operations, website, inventory, things like that. And things have shifted a little bit as we've grown our family and grown our team. Like I don't have as many responsibilities day to day in the business anymore. And my husband's responsibilities, he's not doing operations and inventory anymore because he's in the CEO and we have someone, an ops team running those things. But you have to have those conversations. And so it's so great, I think, in a relationship to learn how to navigate those things, to navigate hard conversations, to navigate conflict. And we're not always perfect, but I think it's helped us grow a lot and I'm really grateful for it.
Well, I may be asking you as much about entrepreneur advice as life advice here, but what are your biggest learnings from having those conversations or rules for the road?
I think, one of them is to define your roles and be very clear and communicative about your expectations regarding those roles. Because if you're starting a business with a spouse or just any business partner, like conflict's going to arise if you're stepping on each other's toes. And the sooner you can be like, hey, this is my lane, trust me with what I'm doing. And I'm going to trust you with what you're doing because that's your lane. The faster you're going to be able to grow because you're not nitpicking and hovering and you're not micromanaging the other person. There has to be a lot of trust there. And so that has helped us a lot, is just being so communicative about the lanes that we need to stay in. So I think that would be my first piece of advice. And the second would just be over communicative. You cannot underestimate the power of like just over communicating. So with our schedules, with our goals, things that we're like looking for in the future, how we want to grow the company, what direction we want to take it. I think sometimes we get in our heads, like entrepreneurs, we have a lot going. So we start checking the boxes, and I'll have things where I'm like, oh, I swore I told you that. And he's like, you did not communicate that to me. And I'm like, oh, I must have told someone else. I'm sorry. I should have told you that. But like making sure that you have those like accountability one-on-one meetings, like regular touch points with your co-founder, whether it's a spouse or somebody else, so that you are always aligned. If you're not, that's going to be a recipe for disaster.
Great advice. Switching gears, tell us about the marketing side of the house, influencer marketing, and how you've scaled the business and finding these different paths to the customers.
Yeah, man, you just got great questions. So I was the CMO until 2021 when I stepped back when we were trying to get pregnant with our third. And I loved the marketing. That's where I gravitated towards. I studied international cultural studies in college. And I think that my emphasis was in peace building and conflict resolution. So I really enjoy listening to other people's stories and building a narrative to produce common ground amongst different parties. And that's all marketing is creating a narrative that connects different people. And that's what I loved about what I studied in school and then coming into marketing. So really our whole thing at Thread with like marketing or any aspect of the business has a lot of it has just been very relational. Like how can we build relationships with people and really like not take advantage of the communities that we want to be a part of. I think a lot of people are like, oh, I want to build this lifestyle brand. And then you end up kind of taking advantage of the group that you want to be a part of. And so we've really tried to be authentic to that. And we're not perfect. We've got a lot that we need to work on in terms of like, sometimes you get spread too thin and you're like, we should do this event and we should do this event and we should do this. And you take on too much. And then you're like, wait, we can't be everything for everyone. Like we have to check ourselves on that regularly. But one of our biggest philosophies, like with influencer marketing and other initiatives, has been to come with like a palm up. Like, what can we bring you? Like, how can Thread bring value to whatever influencer we're working with or whatever event we're partnering with? Like, this isn't something that we're just here being like, yes, this is going to be good exposure for us. It's like we want the things that we do to be a relational, and I think that that's been a huge key to our success. Is a lot of the influencers that we still work with today are influencers that we worked with 6 years ago and 7 years ago. Like they've been with us for a really long time. And that to me speaks volumes to the relationship aspect of it. And whether it's with our own team, our own employees, or the people that we're working with externally, influencers, agencies, whatever it is, that relationship is key. As you move forward and grow your company.
Tell us where the business is today, where you've grown it from the two of you to a whole company and a ceremony where you had the mayor and hundreds of people turn out. It's what a great story. Would love to hear where you are and maybe where you're headed.
Yeah. Our goal at Thread is to become the go-to brand for all things carry. So we started out with wallets, and our wallets are really unique because they have the keyring functionality, so they can attach to your keys. They can clip onto your bag. You can clip it onto your belt. Like it's just so functional. So our whole thing is anything that you carry. And as we've branched into like the lip balm holders and the AirPod cases, we've decided to move into bags, which have done really well for us. We've launched backpacks and crossbody bags and fanny packs. And we launched a bag called our utility tote this past year that we haven't been able to keep in stock. So we're really aiming to, become the go-to brand for all things carry. So when anyone in America thinks like, oh, I need to get a new laptop case, I need to get a new bag, it's Thread that they think of. And I think you want to believe that everyone knows who you are, but I know that's not a reality. We have a lot of people that we still need to be introduced to. And that's a fun problem to solve, is always coming up with creative strategies to meet new people and convert new customers. But we're getting there. We've been on the Inc. 500 twice. In the past 5 years, I'm a Forbes 30 under 30 alumni. So there's been some big wins that we've had in terms of our growth. We have probably going from just my husband and I and family and friends who helped us in the beginning to, I think we have probably around like 60, 70 employees right now. We have retail locations. So each of those has around 4 to 5 employees. And then corporate office, there's probably like 25 to 30 that are working there. And then we have some full-time employees that are remote. So it's really cool. It's so fun to see how we've gone from just a small little wallet to all these other products. But then,
the whole line.
just from being me and my husband to
a whole family of products,
a whole team. Yeah. A whole team of people who are really close knit, and it's fun. The team is my favorite part of the job.
Wonderful. Before I ask you my wrap-up questions, a quick question on content. Do your customers send you videos? Do you still see they send you photos? What are some of your favorite ways of getting the message out to the community?
Yeah, that's for sure. Like sending out product, like getting our product into people's hands is the best thing for us. The number one way people hear about us is through word of mouth, because the product is different than any wallet that you've seen before. And so we know that if we can get someone using our wallet, they're going to tell their friends. That's just how it goes. And so word of mouth and just getting our product into anybody and everybody's hands, that's something that we do through our marketing, but also just like, I mean, if someone reaches out to me, and I don't know how many followers, subscribers you have, I might be regretting this, but if someone reaches out to me and is like, hey, I'd love to try your wallet, like, I'm always like, sure, sweet, I'll send you one. Like, I'm not gatekeeping our wallet. Like, I obviously would prefer if you would buy our wallet because we got to put food on the table. But I know that if I give one away, there's going to be 5 people that buy because of that. And that's always been one of our philosophies. Our product is really inexpensive to manufacture and we have really great margin on it. So it makes sense for us to give it out as much as we can and see what comes back because of that. And that's kind of that palm open approach, is like, we're just going to bring value to the people who want to be in part of our community. And then hopefully you find enough value that you'll keep coming back and be a repeat purchaser time and time again.
Product market fit. You found it. You scaled it. It's a great journey. So
yeah, it's so fun.
I'm really happy for you. Now I have a few quick wrap up questions. The first of which is, and I know it's hard to pick only 2, but which 2 people have influenced you the most in your professional career?
I would say, like, I have to say my husband. Like, just I wouldn't be where I am. Like, I love creating things. Like, I've always kind of had that entrepreneurial spark, but I'm a doer. Like, if you give me something, I will get it done. But I'm more of like an ideator, and then I like to kind of be told what to do and then I'll do it. So I'm really grateful for him for pushing me into this space. Like, this has been, I mean, we've had amazing team members, but it's been us together from the beginning, and I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I wouldn't have had all of these experiences if it weren't for that push that he gave me to be like, no, we're going to do this together. This is amazing. So for sure, my husband, and then, man, there's so many that are like flashing through my head. My parents, because they let us do everything in their house when we first started out manufacturing everything, and they never once complained. I probably would say them, like, they have just been so supportive. My dad is in a place financially, which I'm so grateful for, that when we have, because we're bootstrapped, so when money's been tight, he's been able to offer us loans instead of having to go do all the paperwork at the bank. And my dad especially was very skeptical at the beginning because he is a A plus B equals C mentality. He's very traditional. But despite that, he has been so supportive, and
he bet on the people.
Yeah. And they help with our girls all the time when meetings arise or things pop up. So yeah, I think I will say my husband and my parents, they're the best.
Now, if you get some time outside of work and family, what are your favorite hobbies? What do you like to do?
Well, you can see I'm actually in my quilting room. I've got like quilts right here. I've got, I guess if you're listening to this, I've got my fabric here. I'm like making a quilt for my daughter's room right now. So I'm a grandma. My husband says that I've got grandma hobbies. I have a quilt that I'm working on right now. And right before this, I pulled 2 loaves of sourdough out of the oven. So I love, anything at home. I'm on the go so much. So I think I've really pulled to these hobbies that kind of ground me and keep me in the home with my kids and allow me to be present with them while I'm here working on fun things.
The kids know the product, I assume?
Oh, yeah. It's so funny. My daughter's in 2nd grade, and she got in an argument with someone because the girl was like, oh yeah, like she was lying, I believe, but just like, yeah, we went to Thread Wallets over the weekend and my dad works there or something. And Ray was like, no, your dad doesn't. Like, you're lying about that. And they're kind of protective. They'll come home and they'll be like, Mom, we make these, right? It's always a we thing.
Right.
And I'm like, I love that. I love that they've seen us work together on this. I have 3 daughters, 7, 5, and 2. And so I love that they've been able to see me work and have a career and see me achieve these things. I think that it's really important for women for them to be able to become something. They need to see it modeled before them. So I hope that I'm a good example to my girls of being a good mom. I hope I'm a good mom, and that I'm also chasing my dreams and pursuing a career as well.
100%. Well, your passion and your comes through loud and clear, and you're a total source of inspiration. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. Well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. If our listeners want to get in touch with you, find out more about Thread, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, you can follow me on LinkedIn. I actually love LinkedIn. I check it a lot. I know my husband never does, but I check my messages on there quite frequently, and I love to meet new people. So come say hi. I'm just McKenzie Bauer, and then threadwallets.com, and it's THREAD wallets. So many people think we say Fred Wallace. And we're like, no, not Fred Wallace. It's Thread Wallets, needle and thread. So yeah, come check us out over there.
Perfect. We'll include a link in the show notes. McKenzie, an absolute pleasure. Go in, palms up, learn from the customers, and do great things from some of my big takeaways. Thanks again for the time.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I hope you enjoyed today's show. Beyond the Shelf is brought to you by It's Rapid. It's Rapid is the platform Pepsi, Sierra Nevada, Revlon, and hundreds of other leading brands and retailers use to build personalized content at scale. Whether that's images, videos, or product descriptions for their product detail pages, shoppable videos or banners for their digital ad campaigns, or sell sheets for sales enablement, brands that use It's Rapid are able to produce high-quality, on-brand content on average more than 80% faster than category competitors. To find out more, please visit itsrapid.ai. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Beyond the Shelf.